की जय, Srimad Bhagavatam की जय. Reading from Prabhupada's Lilamrita as it is. Krishna is the proprietor of all lands and planets. The perfect yogi is the sincerest friend of all living entities. He knows that the living being who is conditioned by the modes of material nature is subjected to the threefold material miseries due to forgetfulness of his relationship with Krishna. Because one is Krishna consciousness, he is happy. He tries to distribute the knowledge of Krishna everywhere. Since the perfect yogi tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna conscious, he is the best philanthropist in the world and he is the dearest servitor of the Lord. Na tasmad kaschid me priyakruttama. In other words, a devotee of the Lord always looks to the welfare of all living entities, and in this way he is factually the friend of everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhiraye Nastapraye Shabadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24 and Text 41. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samuditaha Tena Evam Samuditastena Kapilena Prajapatihi Kapilena Prajapatihi Dakshini Krutya Tam Pritaha Dakshini Krutya Tam Prito Vanam Eva Jagama Ha Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha Evam Samuditastena Kapilena Prajapatihi Dakshini Krutya Tam Prito Vanam Eva Jagamaha. Maitreya Uvacha. The great sage Maitreya said, Evam, thus, Samuditaha, addressed, Tena, by him, Kapilena, by Kapila, Prajapatihi, the progenitor of human society, Dakshini Krutya, having circumambulated, Tam, him, Pritaha, being pacified, vanam, to the forest, eva, indeed, jagama, he left, ha, then. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Sri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, was spoken to in fullness by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him, and with a good pacified mind, he at once left for the forest. Please repeat. Sri Maitreya said, thus when Kardama Muni, the progenitor of human society, was spoken to in fullness by his son Kapila, he circumambulated him, and with a good pacified mind, he at once left for the forest. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Going to the forest is compulsory for everyone. It is not a material excursion upon which one person goes and another does not. Everyone should go to the forest at least as a vanaprastha. Forest going means to take 100% shelter of the Supreme Lord, as explained by Prahlāda Mahārāja in his talks with his father. Sada samadvignadhyam. People who have accepted a temporary material body are always full of anxieties. One should not therefore be very much affected by this material body, but should try to be freed. The preliminary process to become freed is to go to the forest or give up the family relationships and exclusively engage in Krishna consciousness. That is the purpose of going to the forest. Otherwise, the forest is only a place of monkeys and wild animals. To go to the forest doesn't mean to become a monkey or a ferocious animal. It means to accept exclusively the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage oneself in full service. One does not actually have to go to the forest. At the present moment, this is not at all advisable for a man who has spent his life all along in big cities. As explained by Prahlāda Mahārāja, Hitvatmapatam Gruhamandakupam, one should not remain always engaged in the responsibilities of family life, because family life without Krishna consciousness is just like a blind well. Alone in a field, if one falls into a blind well and no one is there to save him, he may cry for years, and no one will see or hear where the crying is coming from. Death is sure. Similarly, those who are forgetful of their eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord are in the blind well of family life. Their position is very ominous. Prahlāda Mahārāja advised that one should give up this well somehow or other and take to Krishna consciousness, and thus be freed from material entanglement, which is full of anxieties. Essence the Bhaktivedanta Purport. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Ena Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Maitreya is explaining what is happening between Lord Kapila and his father Kardama Muni. Kapila assured his father that he will be teaching self-realization to Devahuti, Kapila's mother. And by hearing this, Evam Samuditastena addressed by Kapila like this. Prajapati, that is Kardama Muni, he became satisfied. Pritaha, he became satisfied. Dakshini Krutya, he circumambulated his little son. And then Vanam Eva Jagamaha, then he left for the forest. So Kardama Muni, as the progenitor of the human society, is setting an example of strictly following the Varnashrama duties. And as part of that, he is now leaving to Vanam Eva Jagamaha. He is going to the forest in order to completely give his time and energy to Krishna and Krishna's service. And but before that, but it is not a whimsical going to the forest. He wanted to ensure that his wife is properly taken care of, and his son is taking the responsibility. So once he heard all such statements from Kapila, very much satisfied, he left for the forest. And before that, he circumambulated the Lord. That is the system. One should circumambulate the Lord's temple. And so Prabhupada is starting his purport saying that going to the forest is compulsory for everyone. And in the middle of the purport he says, one does not actually have to go to the forest. He says one must go compulsory, and then somewhere down the line he says one actually does not have to go to the forest. If the devotees are not scrutinizingly studying the purport, you miss out. You'll only see some forest, animals, and this and that and that. But actually you're not seeing what exactly Prabhupada is trying to say. So he is building up. According to Varnashrama, you must go. And somebody turns 50, he should accept Vanaprastha and give up his family life and then go to the forest. Why they are advised to go to the forest? Because there they can take complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada is saying here, forest going means to take 100% shelter of the Supreme Lord. That is the main point. Taking shelter means completely dependent on Krishna for his basic needs, maintenance, protection, and he gives 100% to Krishna's service. This is complete shelter. Manmaya mam upashrita. One has to take shelter of Krishna and execute devotional service. These anxieties of maintenance and protection, sada samadvigna dhiya, they are always there in everybody's mind. And because of this anxieties, always everybody is worrying about how his maintenance comes, how his protection comes. Continuously calculations are going on, and he is thinking that he has to execute this responsibility or that responsibility. But then at the age of 50 they are advised, enough of your calculations. Now you go to forest and then completely depend on the Lord for all your maintenance and protection. It is a training that ultimately the jiva has to be liberated from this world. How to ensure that he gives up his attachment and develops detachment. So this is also a systematic process. One is not advised to abruptly give up his varnashrama duties and go to the forest. It is so the gradual process is being described here. How by practicing varnashrama, gradually one has to 50 years he has to go to vanaprastha, 75 years completely take sannyas, and then come to the spiritual platform, attain Krishna. These are all the processes that are described. These are Vedic injunctions. It is said that if one doesn't follow varnashrama, he'll go to hell by giving up his duties in the varnashrama. But then Prabhupada is suddenly saying one does not actually have to go to the forest. And Prabhupada also warns, going to the forest doesn't mean one becomes like a monkey or a ferocious animal like a tiger. Many people want to become tigers. So he is saying that is not the mood of going to the forest, but rather practice taking complete shelter of the Supreme Lord. Then why Prabhupada is saying there is no need of going to the forest? Particularly he is telling people are used to living in the cities and they cannot go to the forest for this kind of a self-realization. So, to understand this transition from going to the forest is compulsory to the statement that there is no requirement of going to the forest, there is a beautiful conversation between Ramananda Raya and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Madhya Leela, the conversation between these two exalted personalities was described, and there Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Raya. The first question is, okay, what is the goal of life? Please explain, what is the goal of life? And the first point that Ramananda Raya says is, one should follow varnashrama. Actually, Krishna says this varnashrama is created by him only. In Bhagavad Gita, he claims, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam, he says. It is created by him. Whatever God creates, that is compulsory for everybody. But then why is it that then as soon as he says, Ramananda quotes about varnashrama, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this is external. Because Mahaprabhu, he says that he knows that in this age, people will not be able to follow this varnashrama. And so, he asks Ramananda Raya to explain a superior method by which they can attain spiritual platform. Varnashrama, the goal is to attain spiritual platform. But since that is not easy, that is not possible in this age, he asks Ramananda Raya to say something more. Then Ramananda Raya says, okay, if you are not doing varnashrama duties, then you must be doing some other duties. You may be some engineer, you may be some doctor, you may be some lawyer, you may be doing many duties. And so, he quotes Bhagavad Gita to say that after doing whatever duty you want, yat karoshi, yadashnasi, whatever duties you are doing, do it. But you offer your results to Krishna. This is higher than varnashrama following. In varnashrama, he abides by the way Lord is saying, do this, do this, do this. But yat karoshi means he doesn't want to follow what Lord is saying. Okay, you do whatever you want, but you offer your results to Krishna. That is considered higher. Because these results are very dear to the jiva. If somebody works hard or does a great business and gets money, oh, not easy to give up this money. When our devotees go for collection, LLP, and they their duty is to somehow ensure that this hard-earned money is engaged in the service of the Lord. Because that person, the donor, he is not situated in Varnashrama. He is doing his own job, sometimes very sinful jobs, sinful businesses. So the preacher, knowing well that he has to be engaged in Krishna's service, he uses a higher principle. What is that? Somehow offer your results to Krishna. It is not easy to tell him, ye sab chodo, and then you come to some Varnashrama. You become a Vedic Vaishya or a Kshatriya. Let us say you meet a politician and you say, no, you should be Vedic Kshatriya. He will not be able to give up whatever is the mechanism now. Similarly, they say they are Vaishyas, but actually they will be running slaughterhouses, they will be running all kinds of businesses. So a preacher, he engages such jivas in this higher principle that somehow, okay, you give your hard-earned money for Krishna's service. And so after hearing that, Mahaprabhu says, no, this is also ihabahya, this is also external. Varnashrama system is material system, it is not transcendental. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming from transcendental world. His methods are transcendental. Sankirtan is transcendental. They are all brought from Goloka. So he is considering all these things as material. Radha Govinda. Because these methods have no tinge of the transcendental devotional service. Somebody may give some little money, but with some motivations. So that's why he says, no, you move ahead. So then Ramanandaraya, he talks about higher principles. How one can give up his existing social position and take sannyas and then completely engage in the service of the Lord. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, this is also external. You go ahead. You move forward. Then Ramanandaraya says, cultivating empirical knowledge while rendering service to Krishna, that is highest. Now he has, from Karma Mishrita, now he is coming to Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Mahaprabhu says, no, that is also not. Then Ramanandaraya quotes from Bhagavatam. He says, it's a very famous verse, Jnane prayasam udapasya namanta iva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadhiyavatam sthane stita shrutigatam tanuvan manobhi e prayaso jitajitopi asi taistrilokyam. Ramanandaraya says, Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, those devotees who have thrown away the impersonal conception of the absolute truth and have therefore abandoned discussing empiric philosophical truths should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name, form, pastimes and qualities. They should completely follow the principles of devotional service and remain free from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication and animal slaughter, surrendering themselves fully with body, words and mind. They can live in any ashrama social status. Indeed, you are conquered by such persons, although you are always unconquerable. So here Lord Brahma is giving a very important process. He is saying, it is immaterial in which status or which order you are in. He is talking something beyond this varna, situating in ourselves in varnashrama. And so he is saying, okay, whichever position you are, maybe in varnashrama, or you are doing some duties which are not very, they are not supported by Vedic regulations, but sthane sthita shrutigatam, systematically hear from pure devotees. If one somehow develops an inclination to hear from Prabhupada on a daily basis, Prabhupada's Vani is available in the form of his books, in the form of his audio tapes. If somebody develops an inclination, we may not have taste also. Taste is a very big word. If somebody somehow develops a little inclination that I want to hear Bhavadiya Vartam, the new Varta of Krishna, Krishna's news, not some mundane news of some mundane people. So, if somebody takes interest in hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from a pure devotee, then if he follows the instructions given by the pure devotee to his best capacity, then he will conquer the Supreme Lord. Krishna cannot be conquered by anybody, but except only by pure love for him. So if when somebody wants to develop such attraction and love for Krishna, then he has to hear from somebody who has that love. Krishna can be only given away by his pure devotee. He cannot be attained by all those previous methods, strictly following this principle and that principle. Yes, one should try to follow all that, but he should give oral reception to hearing from the pure devotee. So, by gradually hearing like that, he will attain Krishna. In the beginning stages, this process is called sadhana bhakti, where a devotee tries to chant and hear the holy names of the Lord and follow Guru's instructions and try to read the books left by the Acharya and hear his Vani from audio tapes or whatever is possible, and then gradually he will feel more and more remembrance of the Lord. He will feel that he wants to render more and more service to Krishna. So this is the process. So if somebody takes to that process, sthane sthita, wherever you are, you be there, no need to go to the forest. That is how Prabhupada is saying in the middle, that yes, there is no need to go to the forest, but you should give oral reception, submissive oral reception. Prabhupada is saying, one should not be always be absorbed in family responsibilities of taking care, maintenance and protection and earning more and more. One has to give preference to hearing a pure devotee. Sometimes there is a confusion, particularly for somebody who came to Krishna consciousness. There is a confusion. They ask me also, Prabhu, I got an offer somewhere else. The much more bigger salary is going to be there. Should I take up that job or should I continue the existing one? Then my first question would be, will you be chanting 16 rounds and reading 1 hour possible? He says, Prabhu, reading may not be possible. 16 somehow I can manage. Or sometimes even 16 may not be possible. Now what is the use of doing all such big activities, earning bigger monies? And in fact, some people don't even spend that money also. They put it in bank and seeing that number, they are satisfied. Every day they will be seeing the number. How much, how much, how much. A little interest got added at the end of the month, they are very happy. Something extra aa gaya. 10 rupees, 15 rupees. This is how everybody is. Looking at the number, they are satisfied. So, such illusory achievements will only give you some udvignadhyam, anxieties and miseries. That's all. One has to put a limit. This is enough for me. Let me complete my 16 rounds peacefully, and let me read and hear Prabhupada at least for 1 hour. Only by these transcendental methods will give you the necessary satisfaction. Otherwise, you may have big bank balances, so many other achievements in your credit, but you will not have any satisfaction. Rather, you are always harassed by the miseries of material life. So that's why Prabhupada is saying one should not remain in this blind well of materialistic life, always worrying about one's own selfish enjoyment, worrying about his own more and more achievements. That is called a blind well. Materialistic life means it's a blind well. And if somebody falls into that well, there is no hope. One may cry for years, but no one will see or hear such cries. So devotees, they should be, the preachers, they should know that if somebody is in the blind well, whenever you go to meet them, they tell about their stories of the blind well. What is happening inside the blind well, they elaborately explain. They'll tell this challenge is there, that challenge is there, this misery, that misery. My daughter got married and within a month she is going to get divorced. Do something, Prabhu. Or my son is going to, America, wherever. Bless that he'll become Superman in next 1 year or 2 years. Like they have no end to this. Okay, they may desire all those things, but there is no solution. Prabhupada is saying here, nobody can even hear them. They may go on crying. This is not happening, that is not happening, but nobody can hear them. If at all somebody hears them, there is no solution. No solution. That's why a preacher should not get into the drama of those families. You should not get emotionally attached to those stories of blind well. All stories of the blind well will be miserable. There is nothing to hear. And a devotee should never commit a mistake of giving them an advice of some solution. That you do like this, then this can be avoided. You do like this, that can be avoided. He is going to Boston. No, let him go to New York. No, let him go to Washington. There it's much better. Don't give any such advices. There is no solution to them except only some spiritual solutions. There are no solutions to blind well problems. Only a spiritual solution can work. That's why in SSR there is a chapter, Spiritual Solutions to Material Problems. Never give any material solution to their so-called problems. Nobody can solve. Like one family, they came and met. Again, they are talking about the daughter and son and their marriages or their love affairs and how they are broken and divorce. There is no solution. The solution is they should take up to the spiritual method. If you tell them, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, then they'll disbelieve. Just by chanting Hare Krishna, our problems will be mitigated. Swamiji, tell me some solution. In Kali Yuga, you should use complex words, then only they'll understand. Very, very complex, so that they cannot even understand what it is. Then this is looking like a solution, Swamiji, they'll say. If you just say chant Hare Krishna, such a simple solution not possible. So, coming to transcendental platform, spiritual platform, is been made easy in this world. By following all the varnashrama, this and that, one is struggling to come to spiritual platform, and that has been made easy by the spiritual methods given by Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So one is, immediately he is on to the spiritual platform. Prabhupada in one of the quotes he says, as soon as you hear Krishna, you are immediately uncontaminated and liberated. Just hearing Krishna, like that. And if you continuously hear like that, you remain on the spiritual platform. So this Thane Sthita Shrutigata, very powerful process. Prabhupada so painstakingly he gave all his books, and he ensured that his disciples recorded all his transcendental lectures, his voice, his Vani, and those things are available. In very good audio, about 2,500 lectures are available. So, a devotee should make plans. He should scheme how I can hear all this. A devotee should plan. Prabhupada has given these books. By Krishna's will, in our hands we have so many books of Srila Prabhupada. If Prabhupada has left this place little too early, probably we will have very few. But by Krishna's will, we have so tremendous treasure of this. Prabhupada books are available, particularly Srimad Bhagavatam. So one has to give submissive oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam on a daily basis. A sincere devotee, he knows that every day I have to give oral reception. Mind will say, no, there is no time. I am burdened by too many services or works. I am having a lot of challenges, responsibilities. Mind will say like that. It gives so many excuses why we cannot hear Prabhupada's lectures or Prabhupada's books. But a sincere devotee, he knows that actually I can save a lot of time if I am little alert to all the wastages of time. Time gets wasted, so many ways it gets wasted. And particularly the time wasting mechanism is being made very easy by this piece, this mobile. Time waste is so easy. I think I was mentioning some time back, previously in the Instagram or whatever, that video you see, and after that video, only when you click, you can see the next video. Now, recently they have removed that click. Once you see a little bit move, already the next movie is on. And they say in the initial, few seconds, you have to capture the attention of the viewer in the first few seconds. So every video they make it like that. As soon as you, by mistake or whatever, you just see initial this thing, immediately they make it very attractive. The first few seconds, around I think 13 seconds or 14 seconds, there is some theory also behind all this. So within that they try to capture your attention. And if they can capture, then you will see for another 13, 14 seconds or 1 minute, 2 minutes. And in that, if they are able to make even more further attractive features, then you will watch the entire video. Then mind will say, below there must be something more. It goes, see how the time goes away. One should give priority to hearing Prabhupada's Vani and Prabhupada's books. This is the priority. Even apparently spiritual topics and spiritual things that we are hearing or listening in the Instagram or wherever, that should be limited. From Senior Vaishnavas, yes, we can hear. That also should be limited. One should give priority to hearing Srila Prabhupada's Vani. Sanmukharitham, Bhavadiyavatam. A pure devotee's voice and his purports have a special potency, unmatched by anybody else. So one has to give very great attention to this Prabhupada's Vani while taking the help of other speakers and Siksha Gurus. Any questions? Yeah.
So then how come he has chosen that path?
Yeah, actually Kardama and Devahuti, they are parents of the Supreme Lord. They are eternal associates of Lord Kapila. So they are already situated in liberated platform, transcendental platform. But whereas Varnashrama is a material platform, taking Vanaprastha, taking sannyasis. So why are they coming down from transcendental spiritual platform to a material platform? This material platform, Varnashrama, is created in order to take to transcendental platform. By following all these things, they are supposed to go to transcendental platform. And they are already there, but then why are they doing here? So this is the great, there is a great philosophy behind all this. In this world, we all need an example to see. We all need. Before Prabhupada, of course, Acharyas have always been setting the example. Prabhupada has set an example how we can practice Krishna consciousness in this modern society. See, we need an example. So that's why Krishna or his pure devotees, they come down to this world and they create an example. They show by example. Leader means one who shows by example. That's why it's a great responsibility of the leaders, or the religious heads, brahmanas, to show by example. Prabhupada gives one famous example. Let us say you are smoking, and then you tell somebody, no, don't smoke, and you give a big class. In the class also you are smoking, and in the end also you are smoking. Now what is that you are indicating? Nobody will follow that. One has to show by example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, leader means one who shows by example. So Prabhupada has given that example. So similarly here also Kardama Muni, Lord Kapila and Devahuti, they are in a transcendental pastime, setting an example that Vedic injunctions have to be adhered, otherwise they are sinful. Unless one takes to a higher principle, Krishna consciousness, sthane sthita shruti-gatam, they cannot just give up these Vedic injunctions. So that's why in our movement, Prabhupada has given these 4 regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds, which is a highest principle of sadhana bhakti, and if one follows, then one can be assured of reaching the transcendental plane. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.